In the heart of Alaska, where the wild stretches far beyond the reach of the ordinary, lies a testament to endurance, courage, and the unbreakable bond between human and dog. This is the Iditarod. The world's most famous sled dog race, tracing a century-old route between Anchorage and Nome. It's not just a race, it's an homage to the 1925 Serum Run, a life-saving mission against all odds. But there's another hero in this tale of wilderness and willpower: aviation. In a land where roads end and vast expanses dominate, planes become the lifelines, connecting the dots across the frozen landscape. Pilots, braving unpredictable weather and treacherous terrains, deliver supplies, transport teams, and ensure safety. Above the howl of the wind and the runners on the snow, the hum of the aircraft engine tells a story of innovation and adaptability. As we look to the skies over Alaska's rugged beauty, we see more than just a race. We witness a symphony of human endeavor, canine loyalty, and the wings that carry hope across the wilderness. The Iditarod, with aviation at its side, continues to write its legacy under the Northern Lights.
My name is Dale Peterson. I'm the what's known as the Assistant Chief Pilot for the Iditarod Air Force here in Anchorage. Well, today we're trying to play a little catch-up ball because we've had a lot of high winds that kept us from getting folks and their gear out to our checkpoints. The volunteers are very interesting folks. They come from all over the country, some of them from all over the world. And our pilots range from dentists and doctors to professional pilots flying for various and sundry airlines and that. So it's always fun to talk to them, meet them. But our challenges are mainly weather. In this particular year, great ceiling, great visibility, but strong winds. Last year, next year, ceiling and vis are down. The winds aren't an issue, but the ceiling and vis are down, you know. And we fly under an exemption of Part 135, so we have certain ceiling and visibility limitations and that. And the aircraft, of course, have wind limitations, crosswind limitations and things. So those are the primary issues. The good news is we haven't lost people, we haven't lost dogs, we certainly haven't lost an airplane. You know, so we start off early in the morning, usually around 7:30 or so. I start canvassing weather, looking at the forecast, and there are a couple stations that don't officially report weather, so we call them up and we talk to their folks and you know, get an update on winds and ski strip conditions. So I send out a group text to everybody and give them an update on weather and what our big plan is for the morning. That of course falls apart shortly thereafter because of weather and other issues, and then we come up with a new big plan and kind of go through our day that way. And then Colleen comes in and she looks at the puzzle board over here and she figures out a better way to do things. We try to put it together the night before, but then we revise things and that. And then Catherine, she handles our software and there are a million forms to be filled out. You'd think it's a dog race, but no, it's really a million form race. You can take that back out. But anyhow, Catherine's our million form expert, and then we have a crew of folks who literally haul people and gear from here to the airplane and back. Everything we send out, we have to bring back when the checkpoints close.
So across the hall, Dale is working Anchorage logistics. So he's working all the checkpoints to the Alaska range and back, which is all the way up to Rainy Pass and back. So we're working here all the way to Nome and back. So he's handling Iditarod Air Force scheduling, and then we're taking care of pretty much everybody else, all the trails folks, comm folks, veterinarians. We shipped out 2 Starlink kits this morning on a charter. So pretty much everybody that moves by commercial means, that's what we're in here scheduling.
There's about 250 people that we end up having to move to like a hub and spokes type of system. to get them to 20 plus checkpoints, and they are comprised of vets and dogs and trail people and communications. Caravans and also Pilatus. We use different companies and even Alaska Airlines to get people out and back from Nome.
My name is Sarah Bayhan, and I'm a veterinarian volunteering on the Iditarod. So we just took off from a small airstrip in Anchorage. We're flying to one of the first checkpoints to Squetna right now. So I grew up in Idaho, and I'm a recent transplant to Alaska, and I think this is my forever home. I absolutely love it up here. So my family had a small cabin in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of the Frank Church, and the only way to get in was to either hike 26 miles or fly in. So ever since childhood, I was used to getting to fly it into the wilderness in small planes, and it's so magical to be able to just look out and see wolves and moose and endless mountains as far as I can see. And I've been hooked ever since. I think honestly, every part of Iditarod is fun, but it's such a gift to be able to get to see these places from a small plane, and it's definitely one of the highlights of the race is meeting the pilots and having this experience of seeing this incredible state from there. So as a wildlife biologist and veterinarian, I've had the chance to work with species ranging from hummingbirds to great white sharks, elephants and Galapagos tortoises all over the world. It's really incredible. Nothing prepared me for how fun it would be to work with the sled dogs up here, though. They're just a total joy. They're all love bugs, and I think they like the vet exams just as much as we do.
My name is Monty Mabry. I have flown for the Iditarod Air Force for 27 years now. The FAA has us organized just like a 135 operation, basically. We have an operating manual, a compliance statement, we do training, and my role is Director of Operations, so I am basically in charge of the pilots and the operation. The Iditarod Air Force is a group of pilots and all the support folks that help the pilots, and they have been around as long as the Iditarod race, 52 years, because once you leave Anchorage, there's no roads for the next 1,000 miles. So the entire dog race is supported by small aircraft. So before the race ever starts, the Iditarod Air Force brings out dog food. Every dog will need over 1,000 pounds of food over 10 days to run to Nome. So we will fly out somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 pounds of dog food. Every dog gets a bale of straw at every checkpoint, which will allow the whole team to bed down in straw. We'll fly out supplies for the mushers, we'll fly out people to work the checkpoint, judges, veterinarians. The hardest part of the Iditarod Air Force is just all the planning that goes into it ahead of time. And we have a great group of pilots. This year we have 23 pilots. They're all very experienced, they're all commercial ATP, they all have lots of ski plane time. And it's just a matter of putting it all together and figuring out what needs to go where. I'd say most of our pilots that are flying ski planes on the Iditarod have between 500 and 2,000 hours of ski time. So the Iditarod Air Force this year has 23 airplanes. 20 of those 23 airplanes are ski planes. And most of us have retractable skis, which means that the skis can be lowered to land in snow and raised to land on a runway. And the most common airplane we use, 15 of the 23 aircraft are Cessna 180, 185s, which are very similar. And the reason they're so popular is they're fast. There's 20 different types of skis approved for these planes. And they also make a great float plane for the summertime. And the plane that you see here is the last model of 180 that Cessna built. This is a 1978 model. We do have weather challenges. We are a VFR daylight only operation. And so we have to play the weather. If the weather's not good, they'll ground all the aircraft, but we'll catch up a day or two later. And most of the pilots are, with their experience, can handle wind or different conditions that we encounter. If you ask most pilots, would they rather fly people or dogs, they'll vote for the dogs every time. And you might think that's a strange response, but the dogs are handled so much, clipped into harnesses, into dog lots. They're constant contact with people. So when we load the dogs in the airplane to bring back the dogs that are tired or the mushers don't need, they just settle right down. They're great flyers. Those of us that fly in Alaska don't really connect with lower 48 flying as much as you would think. We're so far away. So it's really an honor to have AOPA come all the way up here just to see the type of flying that we do.
My name is Greg Fisher. I'm an Iditarod Air Force pilot, and I've been doing this for about 15 years. This is a Cessna 185, on skis obviously, and that is pretty much the workhorse for the Iditarod Air Force, is the kind of airplane I fly. These are Landis. They're called LH4000s. They're probably the newest engineered skis you can get on the market. There's quite a few, as you can see on the flight line down there, but I think these are the best personally. They're hydraulic wheel skis, so the ski goes down and under the wheel, and then you're a ski plane. I've been flying skis probably pretty much as long as I've been flying. I learned in Fairbanks, 35 years. I have several thousand hours on them.
As the sun shines over the Alaskan wilderness, Iditarod teams charge through the snow-covered landscape, each mile bringing them closer to McGrath. Through frozen rivers and dense forests, mushers and their dog teams maintain a steady pace, their determination evident in every stride. As the day fades into night over Alaska, the scene shifts. Now near McGrath, only the beams of their headlights light their way through the heavy snow. Earlier, planes were busy at McGrath delivering dog food, hay for bedding, and other essential supplies, ensuring everything is ready for the team's arrival after a long day on the trails.
I'm Diana Maroney. I'm with the Iditarod Air Force, and I'm the Assistant Chief Pilot here in McGrath, Alaska. Big thing is transporting the people, the dogs, first getting all the supplies and people in place, and then transporting dogs and people back around all up and down the trail. I've entered 10 Iditarods and finished 9 of them. I mean, the flying is phenomenal most of the time. Yesterday we had a lot of bad weather, but when you get out there flying the checkpoints, and we used to call it kind of chasing the dogs, one of the most enjoyable things to do flying would be to fly the trail. 13 airplanes we've launched, and it's 10 o'clock. Some are going up trail to the next hub, Unalakleet. The other 8 are coming back here and will be sent out again. So it gets pretty busy. In the morning we generally let them get their breakfast so we could have our pilot brief. We go over the weather, what our needs are for that day, and where we're going to send people. And then we kick them out the door as soon as we can. So we just keep busy pretty much all day. And then of course we have to figure out, we have a cook here, and it's always a challenge to figure out how many people we're going to have in McGrath to keep him cooking for everybody. So we have to figure out numbers, and do we need box lunches for the day, or do we, there's a lot of different little things that get done out of here, even though we're the Iditarod Air Force. Iditarod is just a huge logistical affair, and it takes a room load of people to manage that, and a lot more people to make it work.
The Iditarod Air Force is the lifeblood of the Iditarod. It is very important to the Iditarod itself. because without aircraft, you couldn't run the race.
The sum of the parts is much greater than what you can describe. You know, it's a holistic experience that involves people, the flying, the dogs, the countryside. We get a lot back. You get a lot back. It's supporting this cool race. It's this great flying, super people. I get to take my daughter along. You know, it's pretty hard to beat.
Well, just pulled out of safety. I'm on the trail all alone. I'm doing fine and picking up time and running on in the Nome. There are no sled tracks in front of me and no one on my tail. I did the Iditarod trail. Well, give me a team and a good lead dog and a sled that's built so fine, and let me race those miles to Nome, 1049. Then when I get back to my home, hey, I can tell my tale. I did the Iditarod trail. I did the Iditarod trail.